All right, we're back to you live from Central Bank of Nigeria's headquarters in Abuja. A very important decision as far as the monetary policy is concerned for September. The governor of the central bank with the rest of the members will be in here in the next, within the next 40 minutes. We're expecting them to make those very critical announcements after their two-day meeting. Let's have about 1 minute each before we get to the top of the hour with the panel in Lagos studios. Mr. Bukar Kyari, who is the chairman of NESG, the senior partner in charge of transaction advisory at Ernst & Young, BC Sander, and finance expert and chief executive officer of ProShare Nigeria. Thank you, gentlemen. Bukar, let's start with you all again for about 1 minute. This is a growth stimulation versus price stability. How do you think the central bank will decide?
It's going to be a tough decision, as we were discussing just before we got on the air. Either way, you are going to be on the wrong side because there are valid arguments for rate increase and also valid arguments for rate reduction. The consensus is to hold, right, to do nothing. However, there has been a lot of bashing around going on of the fiscal stimulus as well as an expansionary monetary stand, in which case it appears that the decision that may come out of the MPC might actually favor rate reduction. However, we will find out the details in the next 40 minutes, as you have stated.
Yes. Thank you, Bukar Kyari. Mr. Sander, very quickly, the finance minister in the last 24 hours have said that the central bank should cut interest rates. Do you agree with her position?
The issue that faces Nigeria is the issue of, biting the bullet, having some spine to take necessary to take the decisions that are necessary at this stage of our economy. For instance, we realize that with the exception of 1974, when in all of Nigeria economic history, that was when we had a demand-pushed inflation. At all other times, including now, what we have is supply-push inflation. And it's tied to the structure of our economy. So, you need to actually situate whatever decision the Monetary Policy Committee will be taking in that context. And if you look at it from that angle, notwithstanding that theoretically, and I'm not an economist of on one hand or the other hand, you've got to actually be pragmatic. The rate cut is the appropriate thing, but as Bukar said, we are not stargazers. So let's wait for another 30 minutes and hear from the horse's mouth.
Yeah, we're going to wait for another 30 minutes. Thank you very much, Mrs. Sander. Femi Awoyemi, in just one quick, about 10-20 seconds, can you make a response? Do you agree with the finance minister that the headline interest rate should be shaved at today's announcement?
The minister tried to do two things. One was to kind of like speak to investors to allay their fears, as it were. Our second thing was to also raise the fear of analysts in the same breath. And here's why that makes it much more very difficult to understand. Why would the minister go in public to say that he wants the independent CBN to raise rates? The whole idea of a coordinating system is for you to have that conversation to have taken place between the minister and the CBN governor prior to that, and then we continue to, I don't know.
Okay. Olufemi Awoyemi, finance expert, analyst, and CEO at ProShare Nigeria. Thank you very much. Bukar Kyari, we thank you very much for your time. We understand you have to leave the studio at this point. We thank you for coming in on the conversation, the chairman of the Nigeria Economic Summit Group. BC Sander, thank you very much for sticking around. We'll be right back after about 20 minutes, at about 2:15 o'clock. We'll be right back with this conversation with our panelists in the studio. Don't forget, we're counting down to the last 30-40 minutes where the central bank governor, Godwin Emefiele, will announce the decisions and the considerations that that the members have decided at arriving at those conclusions. We'll get back to you in a few minutes. We'll be right back. Stick around.